We're at Sandown for the opening round of the Australian Manufacturers Championship. Stuart Costera joins us. 3 times you've won this championship, and the big talking point is that this year you join with Gary Holt, last year's winner. Tell us about the excitement.
Yeah, I was pretty excited to get the call at the start of the year with Gary saying that it'd be good to team up, because basically that means between the two of us we've won the last 4 championships. So, you know, I guess we're going as favourites, but we're really looking forward to spending the year with Gary in this car.
But you can never rest on your laurels regardless of the wins that you've got together.
Oh no, everybody's out there always trying a little bit harder to bring the level up, and you know, we've got to keep on pushing as well.
And both being winning men, I assume that you've gelled well together. Can we know a little bit about the sneaky tactics that you've got?
Well, I guess the good thing is we're the same height. You know, we don't need to worry about moving the seat or putting little dicky seats in or anything like that. So there's a good thing there with a little bit of adjustment in the seat belts between me and Gary. But other than that, it's a pretty good fit.
And I think that means we're not really allowed to know their tactics this season. But one thing that is sure is that the season ahead will be fantastic. These guys are the kings of endurance racing.
Welcome to the Showroom Showdown, where cars you can buy on the streets all around Australia are tweaked and tuned and turned into proper racing cars with that road-going flavour. This is the Australian Manufacturers Championship. The AmChamp continues the tradition of motorsport improving the breed of road-going vehicles and is structured into 6 separate classes. Outright high-performance categories for super quick 4-wheel and rear-wheel drive cars like Mitsubishi's Lancer Evo and the stunning BMW 1M lead the way. Class C caters for performance variants of mid-range road-going cars like Mazda's 3 MPS, while classes D and E cater for every price point in between and allow Honda Integras to battle Toyota 86s and Renaults to take on BMWs. And in the classic tradition of Aussie motorsport, the AmChamps are fought out over a series of long-distance races throughout the season, with the shortest race clocking in at a hefty 200 Ks. The 3-time champion Stuart Costera will be one of the drivers to watch as we get set for the Sandown 3-hour Classic, the opening round of the Australian Manufacturers Championship for season 2014. Barton Moore alongside me for this one. Production cars at a great circuit, Bart, and a real test of endurance at this place, and this can be a car breaker.
Oh, absolutely. This is tough. It's big on brakes. These cars get up to top speeds, nearly the top speeds I'll get anywhere in this country, and here's the grid.
So Gary Holt will start the number 20 car from pole position. He will share that with Stuart Costera. Beric Linton starts the BMW from the outside of the front row. His time good enough to qualify that car there. A BMW and a Mitsubishi on the second row of the grid. Tony Alford starting the Donut King BMW. Bob Pearson sharing with Glenn Seaton will start the Product Evo. So there's Holty, reigning champion in the AmChamps and one of the most successful production car drivers this country's seen in the last 10 years. He's won just about everything from Bathursts to GTP and the AmChamps as well. And this will be an interesting race, and that format of endurance, 3 hours, is a long way around this place.
Yep, obviously we've got driver changes later in the race, and this will be a test. This won't be just about pace. Here we go, off the start.
So BMW versus Evo, but how about the whole shot from the product car from the second row of the grid? Bob Pearson launches off the line. Great start. And he'll lead them down into turn 1. Holty's been bogged or buried in the field by a couple of cars.
Looks like he's going to be almost parked like Peter O'Donnell, his old car. That'll hurt him for sure.
So it's Bob Pearson leads, Beric Linton second, Alford third, Rob Marshall P4 in the Melbourne Performance Centre Evo. Then one of the Sharon BMWs up there in 5th place. And here's Gary Holt, the pole sitter, back to P6 by the time they get onto the back straight for the first time. So not a great start though. 4-wheel drive turbo grip out of turn 4, no problems, and he'll deal with that Class B BMW pretty quickly.
Yeah, we know this. You see the cars settling in. There's not a lot of door-to-door racing here, but Holty, the red mist will be coming down. He'll just be thinking about getting back to position 1.
You know what, red mist on lap 1 of a 3-hour race. They'll get somewhere near 400 Ks, all going well in this one, as Beric Linton in that Alfera BMW new number this year, number 40 on the side of that car. Well, significant reasons behind that. We'll touch on that as this race evolves, but Berwick really keen to have a good season sharing with Matt McKeldin in the 1M this season.
Good to see Pearson out in front. I mean, he's just been such a strong competitor and such an input here into AMC. And Evo out in front, he really deserves this at the moment.
Yeah, not a bad co-driver either in Glenn Seaton, who was the fastest driver in qualifying, but across the course of the weekend, I should say. But the grid position's dedicated on the time that the driver's starting the car for the race set. So that's why the results on the starting grid were different to how they ended qualifying. It was down to what driver was nominated to start. At the moment, there's a battle between BMW and Evo at the front of the field. The 1M versus the Evo 10 RS at the pointy end.
The 1M just seems to have a bit of pace at the moment. He's all over the back of Pearson, and they've just spread off a little bit from the NPC car. And Holty on his charge, as we'd expect him to be, on board now, coming up the end of the back straight.
Ian Sharon starting the Sharon Rentals number 19 car. So off to a good start. Here's Holty, shoots it down the inside of Alford. And the Eastern Creek Cartsman gets a position. So big move. Came from a long way back, but executed nicely.
Yeah, I think he almost put himself out there, Gary Holt. He didn't look like he wanted to make that move, but then shot straight through. So you can see he's got a lot of confidence in the car. He's really placing that very assertively through the field. So he's on a bit of a high at the moment. And we've got some action here.
Jake Camilleri in the Class C Mazda 3 MPS from Grand Prix Mazda out of Brisbane. Under pressure, that's a brand new car to the AM Champs too. Glenn Crimp out of WA. Former tarmac rally car, that 1M converted. All black, looks sinister. Great looking car.
On board at the end of the start-finish straight here. Quite bumpy into turn one. So even for these cars, even though they're a bit softer sprung than a lot of other race cars we see, it's very difficult. You'll often get the ABS really working hard into those sort of bumpy braking zones. And the drivers have to be careful. It's quite easy in these early stages to, believe it or not, push too hard and then work the brakes hard, overheat the tyres. You've got to keep thinking. 3 hours around Sandown is a long time.
George Karadimas, that was starting the Falcon XR6 Turbo Class C car, so racing with the likes of the Mazda 3 MPS that we saw before and the BMWs as well. So starting a little bit further back. There's the Mazda. These guys have been involved in this class for a couple of years. They've worked very hard on reliability with this generation of Mazda 3 MPS. All sorts of troubles, the Grand Prix Mazda crew last year, but they think they've got on top of that, and the car is performing well so far.
Well, they punch above their weight as a team, don't they? And that little Mazda, particularly when it rains, it's awesomely fast. And the drivers do a great job in it well to maximise it. So good to see a lot of new cars in the field this year, and still quite close with all the different manufacturers involved.
And there's more coming, but there's plenty of talk about a couple of Audis that might be joining the fray, and perhaps some of the three-pointed diamond, or the three-pointed star, I should say, not the diamond. We've got those in the Evo, but perhaps some Mercedes-Benz product being rumoured amongst the paddock. So that would be very interesting. Plenty of interest in the AM Champs. More cars to come for the next round as well, which is at Phillip Island, which is the Great Southern 4-hour, an even longer race at a faster circuit. So that's going to be wild. Gee, good run here. Holty shoots past the Marshalls. Rob Marshall starting the car, and Gary back up to third.
Yeah, that was a surprising move. It was almost like Marshall missed a gear the way Gary just was able to flick out there. But as usual, he's taken full advantage of it, and now he's got Pearson in his sights.
So the product car leads the way. This is a very nice start for the Queensland BMW dealer. Bruce Linton BMW is the outfit, Barrett Linton the driver. Here's a look. And yeah, that was quite a speed differential. Gary Holt going past for third.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect such a speed difference normally from equal cars, so I'd say something happened there to Marshall. And now Gary, the charge continues, and on the back of Pearson. Both probably on the more mature side of the driver ages in this category. It's
being very polite, but very good. You don't want either of them coming after you for some incorrect comments. So this is for second place on the road now. Product versus Eastern Creek Karts, couple of Sydney-based outfits, and there's the positional change. A bunch of Evos running line astern. Second, third, and fourth. Stewie Castero was magic in qualifying, as was Glenn Seaton in the 33 car. Stewie Castero a 19.3 and Glenn Seaton a 19.5, so just 2 tenths between them, and it shows how evenly matched these combinations are. A bit further back, Tony Alford, the Donut King BMW. There's Grant Sherrick and Crimp. And then the Camilleri Nicholas Mazda 3. Here's a look, Bart.
On board. I didn't think Gary would be able to do this, and fair play to Pearson because he saw him coming and just gave enough room. That could have been contact there really easy.
Plenty of commitment under braking from Gary Holt. Got the car stopped though and got it turned in. As we look a little bit further back, as the Camilleri car starting to attack. Front-wheel drive turbo car against a rear-wheel drive non-turbo BMW, but that's the thing with the Am-Champs. You get all these types of rivalries and different cars you can buy on the road in the same class, dicing it out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think the BMW might have a bit of problems here, just dropping back off the Mazda quite quickly. So back to the lead. Gary Holt's charge continues, and he's eyeing up first place, isn't he, Richard?
Glenn Crimp started that black Mazda BMW 1M, I should say. And here we go. This is the leading fight between Barrick Linton and Gary Holt. Probably the two combos, along with the product and possibly the Marshalls, that we expect to be contending for the Am-Champ title this year. And how's the commitment from Holt here early on in a 3-hour race, banging the car over the curb? Must be very confident in the reliability of this car, and they have given it a massive birthday of the off-season, basically a brand new car for this year, and he was pretty happy with the way that this car would perform.
Yeah, Gary's not driving this like it's a 3-hour race, is he? Maybe they forgot to tell him how long this race is, but it's under brakes, Richard. It's really surprising me how he's catching up so much time under brakes, and he's making the most of it. If he's going to pass, it's going to be under brakes.
Down towards turn one. The BMW very handy in a straight line. There's the Grand Prix Mazda 3 MPS. Jake Camilleri, the Queenslander, started this car. Scotty Nicholas, former saloon car racer, sharing with him long-time driver combo. And the Peters suspension team are back in business. Some talk that they were out of the game at the end of last season, but a turnaround in form for them.
Oh, Peter O'Donnell off the circuit, so obviously in a bit of trouble there.
That's the run into the final corner, Bart. That's a strange place to have an off.
It is, and he's continuing. He's not coming in the pits, so obviously not too much drama there, but that BMW will keep going. He's holding.
Speaking of handy co-drivers, though, lots of them in this field. Not a bad one with Pete O'Donnell in the GWS 335. One John Bow, Bathurst 12-hour winner this year, alongside.
Yeah, John knows that car very well, doesn't he? So he enjoys driving that BMW and helps Peter along very well with it. So back on board with Holdy here. He's he's biding his time now. Big charge for the field, and it's just halted a little bit as he's got to P1. His BMW's fast, Richard, like you say, straight line. It's taking off. That won't make Gary very happy at all.
And despite the fact the Evo would get out of a corner, punch out of it so well because it's a four-wheel drive, that BMW still goes all right. Berwick driving it very, very well. 40th year in the BMW car selling business this year for Bruce Linton. BMW changed to the lead. That's why he's got a different number, and the number in the race has changed for him as well. It's gone from 1 to 2, and Holty is back in front. This is the battle for third. The Marshalls now in front of the product team.
This is amazing. The position is changing everywhere. So Marshall up to third, straight past Pearson. Remember, these cars are pretty much identical, so you can see Marshall really coming on with speed here.
Be interesting to see what happens when Glenn Seaton, with all due respect to Bob, Glenn has been very, very speedy in the product car. Bob still goes so well, though, in that car and really loves his motor racing. The product racer. Here's another look, Bart. Talk us through.
Yeah, look, Gary would almost have to flick to the inside to avoid hitting the BMW and just made a pass of it. So, very well done.
Yeah, and this was Pete O'Donnell, dramas in the 28 GWS personnel car. Gary Manel and the On-Track Motorsport guys have given this car a birthday in the off-season. Spin for the number 35 130i BMW.
And the BMW's off again, so I'd say they've got some technical problems there. Hope that doesn't cause a safety car, Richard.
Well, I bumped into Pete early in the weekend, and he was so happy with the way that that car was going. Gee, busy here, isn't it?
Action.
Couple of 1Ms, Crimp charging through the field, started 17th, co-driving with Matt Cherry. You might remember Glenn from Am-Champs days of past. A couple of years ago, ran one of the works Mitsubishi Ralliart TMR Australia cars run by Alan Heafy, but has since switched to the 1M, and that car's going well. I wonder that product car's maybe not completely happy because it just does not have the outright pace that we would expect that team to have.
Yeah, that's right, and how much pace he had at the start, so there could be little problems there, but like you say, if anyone can deal with it, it's going to be Glenn. but hopefully it doesn't fall back too much in the clutches further down the order.
The Osborne Motorsport cars just behind. That's the 31. They've got 2 running this weekend. Colin Osborne and Hadrian Morrell in the 13 car. And in the number 31 car is a new combination. Brock Giblin and Lange sharing the driving duties in that. So a new combo to AM Champs, in for the season. And a new livery on the Osborne Motorsport cars as well this weekend.
So we've still got the yellows out down here. So that's BMW, car. And there it is, safety car.
So it took a little while to call it, but it's out. So the safety car is on the road to clear the number 28 GWS personnel car. While we're under caution, we'll take that opportunity to grab a quick break. More from the AM Champs at Sandown Raceway on the other side of this. We're back at Sandown. It's the AM Champs, the Sandown 3-hour classic, and we are back to racing after a safety car intervention to recover the stranded GWS Motorsport BMW. We're back to green flag. Richard Crowell-Barton more with you in the commentary box for this. It's been an exciting race so far. Battle of the production cars at the front of the field. It's been BMW versus Mitsubishi, but this race is anyone's at the moment. There's so much up for grabs and still early stages in this one.
It is, and look at that Megane, Richard. What a lovely car. I'm a bit biased towards the Renault Megane. I'm really happy to see them out there racing.
Yeah, Mark Eddy and Francois Joy in the RS Renault Megane version. Bob Pearson in pit lane very slowly.
That doesn't look good, does it? We saw him going slower and slower as his session started. I mean, after leading the race, so that doesn't look good at all.
Well, that would be a shame because we were looking forward to fireworks when Cito jumped behind the wheel for the second half of this one. It looks like troubles for product. And Bob Pearson puts so much into the sport. Big supporter of it and a big backer of the AM Champs as well. Really loves these long distance races. And here's that Renault Megane that you like so much. Trying yourself up for a drive there perhaps, the RS265. And that is an unhappy Mitsubishi being pushed out of the way.
Body language doesn't look good there, does it?
That's going to the garage, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Well, what a shame for product. This Evo battle is so intense, it's so competitive between MPC, the Gary Holt team and the product team that looks like something's given in product.
Yep. Yeah, they're all pushing each other so hard and so quick in qualifying. I'm really surprised to see the time these guys are able to punch out these basically production cars. So they're allowed to do minimal things to the cars. They've got run semi-slick tyres, a little bit of work done to the computers of the engine, roll cages, obviously all the safety gear, but the speed they get out of them, Richard, I mean, these were touring car times years ago, so pretty impressive.
A little bit further back, a couple of the Conroy Motorsport run Honda Integra Type Rs. There's one of the GWS BMWs. Behind it, the Peters 86. Let's find out what happened for Bob Pearson. He's down in pit lane with Somerville.
Bob Pearson now joins me, and it's an agonising stop for you. What's happened out there?
We were going to do an early pit stop anyway. We came in for fuel with a safety car. And I went back out, second application of the brakes, one of the rotors exploded. And I had to wobble back, and we're trying to fix it now.
So a rotor exploded, Bart. That would be terrifying at a place like this where there's a couple of very heavy stops as well.
Wow, that is rare for a rotor to explode, and that would have got Bob's attention for sure. So probably done a lot of damage too once they go. The caliper and done a lot of damage, so they might be out. Holty still banging over the curves. He's not stopping, Richard, is he? He's on the charge still.
It's interesting to note as he comes into pit lane. I was going to make a mention that Bob mentioned they made that early stop to put some fuel in it. Fuel will be absolutely key in these races. They will have to stretch the endurance, especially if the turbo cars, to get to the end. They generally will struggle to get a full hour out of a tank. So they'll need to balance that in a 3-hour race. You only want to be making 2 stops if you can, but you get the feeling there might be more than that. Now, that's a drive-through penalty by the looks of it. No stop for Gary Holt. Straight through pit lane. Well, that might get him a little bit fired up.
Wow. So we've got a new leader.
So Gary Holt drives through pit lane. The Eastern Creek Karts team, they will be disappointed with that, and that elevates the Melbourne Performance Centre Evo as the leading Evo at this stage in the game. So that's a big turn up for the books.
It is. Oh, and we've got dramas here with the BM as well. Smoke pouring out that right front. So whether that's that looks engine, doesn't it?
Yeah, Glenn Crimp and Matt Cherry sharing that car. They started from 17th and had worked their way up well inside the top 10. That is the debut for that car this weekend. It's a brand new car. It's been converted from a tarmac rally car, like a lot of the Evo Lancers have in the past as well. So the West Aussie combo not going great for them. They'll try and bounce back. They'll be good as this year goes on. Nice to see cars being built for the Am Champs, and that 55 car in pit lane. So possibly an upright button.
Yeah. Well, they seem confident to be putting the wheel back on, so maybe something was rubbing. It did look low on that right front too, didn't it?
On board with the number 14 Honda has a bit of oversteer.
That was a big moment.
Turn 1 catches it up. Kev Herman and King sharing this car. So it is Kevin behind the wheel. Very likeable Sydney-sider, knockabout bloke, fantastic driver. Spent a lot of time in the state-based production car scene in New South Wales.
He carried too much speed and lost the rear very early on. I think he was surprised how much oversteer he had, but he gathered up well. And in a 3-hour race, losing 5 seconds there isn't going to be a drama. These Hondas are quick, aren't they? They're fast in their class, and they're nipping out the heels of the bigger cars. So they could feature towards the end of the race, I think.
Yeah, Luke King's been very impressive in that car as well. So they're a good combo, looking good. Dramas for the 55 BMW. The man running that show is the experienced Alan Heafy. He's in pit lane with Summer.
Alan Heafy joins me now. We're madly inspecting this tyre. What's it telling us? Because we've just changed to Hancock's this season.
Look, I mean, this is the first experience we're having with this Hancock tyre on a car like this, and he just went down the end of the straight there and just hit the brake pedal and it just went pop. Now, why it's done that I don't know, whether it's sort of hit a curb and damaged it or beforehand and it started to deflate, or what the story is, I don't know. We haven't had a real good chance to have a look at it, but it's flat. We've had to change it. We've got another one on there, so we'll continue on.
Well, that explains the drama with the 55 car, Barton. The curbs are quite savage at this place, so we've had no Hancocks since we switched to the control tyre at the start of the 2013 season. We've had no dramas with them at all, so I wonder just some aggressive use of the curb, run over the back of the curb perhaps, might have cut the tyre. Yep.
I mean, we know how good the Hancock tyres are, so definitely an issue there that caught the team out a little bit, but that's the other thing with this race is you've got to manage, your cold tyres, like you say, over the curb. You can't hit the debris. There's a lot going on out there that we can't even see on the camera, so these guys are busy trying to avoid these little disasters, because that's what bites you in these races.
A little bit further back in the class battle. So Class A and B in this series for the high-performance four-wheel drive and high-performance rear-wheel drive cars. And you get back into the production sports cars, and like the Mazda 3 MPS from Osborne Motorsport. 6th outright at the moment, these guys. In good shape, car number 13. They're opposite number 31, looking good. Let's just have a bit of a run up the back straight on board the Mazda, being chased down by your favourite Renault.
It does look good, doesn't it, the yellow stripes there. But I was surprised on board the Mazda there how smooth it was. It wasn't sliding the car. Perfect for a 3-hour race.
You'd have to think that would be the best approach too over a distance like this, is just to be smooth, controlled, as in control as you can, because like you said at the top, brakes and suspension and tyres especially, that cops all the pounding here.
It does, and these cars still are very much production based. We're so used to seeing a lot of race cars on this calendar, and these guys are having to work with a lot of production based parts, and it takes its toll. This is a test.
Well, Tony Alford and Peter Lemus have been a great combination for a long time in the Donut King racing entry, be it in Nissan GTRs or HSVs back in the day as well. I remember in GTP as the Grand Prix Mazda crew head towards pit lane. It's an interesting pit entry here at Sandown. You don't get a lot of warning to peel off to drivers right.
No, we've seen a few nasty actions, haven't we? And Jake, he does a great job with his car, doesn't he? You just feel every time Jake drives his car, he's getting every last ounce out of it.
He and Scotty Nicholas form a great combo too. They've been driving together for plenty of seasons, and in their older model car had a huge amount of outright success. Giant killing sort of form up against the Evos. This is an interesting little battle here with Holty dicing with the Sharon brothers in one of the BMW 135i's. Slightly different spec BM to the 1Ms that we've seen so far today, but still a very competitive car.
Yeah, Gary's not quite as assertive as he was earlier in the race. He knows now he's just got to keep it calm coming back through the field. He's having to do a lot of extra work here.
Yeah, down the inside. So this is a feisty little battle. So Holt's just trying to get himself in position and make up for what we believe was a drive-through earlier on in pit lane. They always play the strategy game, the Eastern Creek Karts crew. They're very, very smart, always thinking on their feet with how they play out one of these races. Now we're going to have a look at a replay here.
Yeah, Gary committed, carrying, well, probably almost too much speed there, having to use the inside curb and a bit of the outside curb, but gets away with it.
Nice pass in the end. Took a couple of corners. There's the Donut King car. Just dicing with Colin Osborne and Hadrian Morale in the Osborne Motorsport Mazda 3 MPS. Another combo that have been together for quite some time.
Oh, there's contact.
Class B and Class C cars, so they're not even racing really for outright position. They're different classes of car.
That was quite a hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, going into the final complex, Spartan. It's a tricky sequence of corners to the left and the right, or the right and the left even, and it sort of turns back in on itself. So the sister Osborne car drives into pit lane as well. But we'll take another look at that, because that was an interesting sequence of events with the lapped car and one of the outright cars.
Yeah, just pinched him, didn't he, the Donut King car. It only works just if those two cars can run side by side and give each other room, but not enough room there.
There is Holt. Bit of battle damage on the left front corner of the Eastern Creek Karts car.
Good to see the 86 out there, Richard. It's such a sleek car. We've been waiting for it to be in this championship and run, and it's such a nice balanced car, these 86s.
Yeah, not a lot of outright grunt, but very well balanced package. As you say, they've been suffering with electronic glitches, all kinds of dramas they've had on that car for the last 12 months, but they think they've got it sorted this year. Another ECU, stock ECU going in, and all sorts of testing and that going on. They were a late entry to the round. As we said before, some talk that they wouldn't make the start. Great to see the Petters racing outfit from Bendigo make the start this weekend.
And these guys are still pushing on. You can see them over the curbs and braking late. Some of them getting towards the end of their first stint, so they're just trying to maximise the last bit. Back on board with Gary Holt, coming back to the end of Dandenong.
Oh, on the marshals in front, Rob and Shane, father and son, and the Carademus XR6 in front. Oh, around the outside, no problems. There goes Holty. Gets the position from the similar Evo. They're still side by side though as they run into the complex, and now he's clear.
Wow, that was a very good move there from Gary. I didn't think there was enough room, but he made room.
Good stuff. So it's a high commitment part of the racetrack too down at Dandenong Road, but maybe the Carademus Lehman XR6 helped the cause a little bit there just by balking the marshals. Yeah, see, he had to take another stop very slow out of the corner, the XR6.
And good for Marshall. He could see that Gary had a run on him. He didn't deliberately cut back out in front of Gary once he had the pass on him, but he hasn't given up. He's following Gary's wheel tracks here, and probably a good stage of the race now not to let Gary go too far. Marshall needs to hang on here if he can.
Pit stop now for 55, so Alan Heafy working his strategy magic. Matt Cherry, it looks like, jumping into that car. Glenn Crimp will have jumped out, the noted tarmac racer. And pit stops going on at Conroy Motorsport. Luke Ellery from the Ford racer there, you can see with the headset on, calling strategy on this crew this weekend. They reckon they've got a good one worked out. So it's all part of the game in a long distance race like this, is to play the strategy game over the course of a distance. Miscue there perhaps from Gary Holt, and he's been repassed by the marshals. Looks down the inside, so the two Evos going at it again.
Is this a 3-hour race, Richard?
Well, it's supposed to be, Bud. But I think Holty's got dramas.
Yeah, they're both in the pits.
They're both going into pit lane, so this could be a scheduled stop. Runs it into the lane.
Yep, you can see Gary unplugging his helmet bands, loosening up his belts. That's all allowed. Just helps make a quicker driver change when the time comes.
Yeah, so which team can do the best job? Gary Holt's well-drilled Eastern Creek Karts outfit, or the Melbourne Performance Centre crew that are looking after Rob and Shane Marshall, the father and son combination. So Stuart Castera jumps in. This is a battle for the lead in pit lane. 2 leaders on screen locked together. Looks like working side tyres going on the Marshall Evo.
this is intense, isn't it? This is where the teams really come into play here. It only takes a bad wheel change or a slip up, and this could really alter the effect or the outright finish of this race.
Marshall's out first, so managed to retake that position. And Holt just lost that spot out of Dandenong Road, dropped a bit of time, and now he's lost even more time in pit lane. Boot going up on that car, everyone over the red line, and they should be able to send Stuart Costera, a multiple champion in the AmChamps, out. So he's got it all to do. Stewie Costera, he takes the Eastern Creek Karts car out. Well, Gary Holt has had sufficient time to get the helmet off. He's in pit lane chatting to Summerbogue.
Defending champion Gary Holt joins me now. Wasn't the greatest pit stop just then. Tell us what happened and what went wrong.
Well, I don't know what went wrong with the pit stop other than there was a small drop of fuel. It seems like the officials want to have a go at me this weekend. That was ridiculous, holding us for just a drop of fuel. This happens all the time. You know, we got the rags, you can see. It's not even there now. So that was just an absurd thing to do to us, especially after we got a drive-through penalty. You know, if the safety car, you know, what they told us at the briefing was that when the safety car lights are out, if you're the lead car, you must maintain acceleration. Do not brake, do not pull out of the accelerator. So if you're going at 60 kilometres an hour, you can increase your speed, but you can't go up to 100 kilometres an hour and go back to 60, which is a great rule. And that's what I did. So I don't even know what I did wrong to get a drive-through penalty. The start of the race, we lost all of our gears, so I got an atrocious start, having trouble with the gearbox, but other than that, the car's pretty good.
So no shortage of dramas at Team Eastern Creek Karts. So just confirming, the drive-through penalty was for the restart issues. Ian Sherrin leads the race. There's more from Sandown Raceway and the Shannons Nationals and the AmChamps season opener when we come back. We're back. It's the 3-hour classic for round one of the Australian Manufacturers Championship. That car, the Sherrin Rentals BMW, still leads the way. Going very nicely indeed. The Class B car leads outright, but Barton Moore, this race has been full of drama so far.
It has, and it just goes to show you. Here we've got a Class B leading outright. Steady wins this race.
So we saw before the break a chat with Gary Holt about a contentious restart. This is what happened. He's there behind the safety car. He goes, and he was penalised for that, for going too early and given a drive-through penalty. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's always a grey area, this one, on the restarts, and obviously the officials thought Gary was in the wrong there, so Gary obviously very upset. We've got a driver change here with the Sherrin Rentals car.
So the brothers doing the switch in the newly liveried car. They've gone alternate liveries on the two Sherrin Rentals 135Is this year. And there is the number 20 car that's been the storm, the centre of all the action. So Holt also talking about holding them at the stop when some fuel dropped. So that was the leader going through. Cars in reverse. There we go. First gear, drive off. So Ian Sherrin out. Grant Sherrin now behind the wheel of the number 18 car that's performed very, very well so far.
It has, and they're really making use of the Hankook tyres and making it all work really nicely. And this is how you win these 3-hour races. Doesn't sound like a long time, 3 hours, but in a race car, that's a lot of laps.
So that's the relative position on the racetrack. The Class C Mazdas from Osborne Motorsport going through, and the Marshalls there go past in the MPC car, so they're very much in the mix as well.
On board with Costera here. He is just supreme, isn't he, in these cars? I mean, we still probably, in my mind, probably one of the underrated drivers in this country. He's fast, he's smooth, he knows how to make these cars work, and he's got some work to do with it now, Richard. He's got to catch up a bit of time.
Just down this long start-finish straight. Well, Ian Sherrin did a magnificent job in the opening stint. He's in pit lane with Andrew.
You look exhausted from one Sherrin to another. What a drive out there. What a start to the race.
Yeah, thanks. It was really good. Car was brilliant. Yeah, we had a strategy. We're just trying to stick to it. We think it's going to work out for us, so we'll see now.
Can you tell us a bit more about the strategy?
Look, we're really good on fuel and tyres, so we lack a bit of straight line speed, but we're good through the corners, so that's it. That's what we're going to do. Use the things that we can do well to our advantage.
A great opening stint. This is Stuart Costero we're riding on board with, the West Australian in pit lane. I don't think this is a scheduled stop for the Eastern Creek Karts Mitsubishi team.
Not at all. He's only done a couple of laps and he's in. The guys aren't even ready for him. And you can see him looking down at the gearbox, the engine.
Did you just hear one of the crew members say it's broken a rocker?
Ouch.
That could be part of the issue. They're checking the plugs, so I wonder if this car's down the cylinder. I thought that onboard picture we saw before of him going down the start-finish straight, it just didn't seem as crisp and as fast as perhaps it should have been. So massive dramas. The defending champion, Gary Holt, Eastern Creek Karts Racing, out of the race, it looks like, at least at this stage, with dramas with the engine of their Mitsubishi Evo 10.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to start your championship campaign, is it? And, well, who can make the most of this now? Because even if they get out, it's hard to imagine that they're going to be contending for the race. And, well, they're parking up, Richard.
Well, this is a massive disappointment. What a performance. Had to charge their way through after a slow start. Then they had to deal with all that drama in pit lane at their first stop. A safety car drive-through penalty. And now mechanical issues have forced them into pit lane.
Well, when it's not your day, it's not your day, is it? And I reckon everyone at Sandown will be hearing Gary's displeasure right now. It just hasn't worked out for them. But look at this, Marshall, they're looking steady.
Well, let's find out what's going on. I think Summer Bogue has run down to the Eastern Creek Karts pits. She's down there with Stewie Costera.
Stuart Costera joins me, and not for a good reason. We should not be here at the moment. What has happened?
Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be here. We're an hour and a half or so into the race, and we've just done our pit stop, which went pretty smoothly. Went back out, and the car was good. All felt good. Settled into a couple of laps, and then it just started losing a little bit of power. I thought maybe that it's just a bit hot, so we tried to cool it down for a lap or two, and then give it another go. But when we really tried hard back into it, it just cut out altogether. It dropped the cylinder for some reason.
Well, that's the verdict from Stuart Costera. A little bit of discretion perhaps to make sure they don't explode anything in that car, but they're out of the race. And meanwhile, the Sharons running along nicely. And in fact, those two cars that just went out of shot there, the Sharon Rentals BMW and the Grand Prix Mazda 3 MPS of Jake Camilleri and Scotty Nicholas, they're looking like realistic chances perhaps at a podium finish in this race.
That's what's so great about this championship. We've got B and C class cars really challenging for outright positions. And, well, we've got one in the gravel.
The Lehman Karadimas Ford, been in the thick of the action so far today. It's great to see some Aussie muscle in the series. You know, it's running, but it's not going anywhere. Osborne Motorsport going to work on the Mazda 3 MPS.
This is where teamwork, these guys really play a big part in these races. It looks easy, doesn't it? Take some wheels off, and we've got a replay of the Falcon.
Oh, that's a strange one. You could hear the tyres squealing as he tried to get it turned in.
Yeah, might have had a problem there.
I was thinking possibly back it in with a bit of oversteer, but anyway, they live to fight another day. We're back to racing here at Sandown in the Sandown 3-Hour Classic, opening round of the Am Champs. And look at that Sharon Rentals car go, disappearing up the road.
It's busy in the middle of the pack there while these guys sort their positions out again.
And during that safety car, radio messages up and down pit lane, look after fuel, conserve fuel, we need to get to the end of the race. So they want to do it without making too many stops, as much as they can.
And we're at the stage of the race now where the teams are trying to work out, okay, are we racing for class, or are we going to push on and try to get an outright position? So you can see here the 86 have to let a few cars pass. They're doing their own race.
And restarts are so critical, aren't they? You need to get them right early and straight away, because you make one mistake and not only could you cause damage to the car, but you'll also lose a stack of time as well.
That's right. And Sandown traditionally with these long straights, it's all about getting onto these straights. Whoa, big moment on board the Osborne Motorsport car. Might have just lost a bit of temper in those tyres with that safety car. And you can see the guys just trying to settle back in again. Marshall's looking strong. This Evo, it's coming on at the right end of the race.
Yeah, they had a good season last year, but a couple of podium finishes in that car, plenty of pace and performance. MPC stepping into the Champs. Obviously a lot of success in GT racing. They are behind the factory Audi squad, the Audi Sport Customer Racing squad in Australia. So great degree of experience in running GT cars, but production cars a different thing. Looks down the inside of that Sharon BMW at turn 1. There's the Barrett Linton, Matt McKeldin, Alfera car.
He's got him. What a move. That was pretty decisive, wasn't it? Can Sharon hang on now?
Well, the Sharon said before that they were lacking in straight line speed, and the Evos have certainly got plenty of that. But Class B car, so high performance rear wheel drive, up against the Class A high performance all wheel drive Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10.
Yeah, this week you can get torn as a driver. You know you're leading class, and you've just been passed for the outright lead. How much do you put on the line now to try to hang on? I think they'll be happy with leading Class B at this stage.
Let's hear more from pit lane. She's in pit lane with Rick Kemp, who's looking after the 22 car.
But Rick, it looks like you're home and hose if you can keep it clean on the run in.
Don't you hate that? I mean, as soon as you say that, that's the commentator's curse, isn't it? Oh, God, look, at the end of the day, we're looking strong. Car's great, tyres are good, our strategy fell into place for us. You feel sorry for the other guys. You know, everybody tries hard, and you never want to win that way, and it was a great fight. Some ripper tussles. But, yeah, right now, we're about ready to eat ice cream.
Well, there's dramas at the Osborne Motorsport camp for the number 13 car, Colin Osborne and Hadrian Morale. They were in ninth, not more. Here's the number 21 Honda Hankook Tyres car, Conroy Motorsport, Terry Conroy, looking after these two cars, caught up with the Petters car. They've had their fair share of dramas today. Ran to Jake Williams now behind the wheel, the young driver from Sydney's North Shore.
He's into everything, Jake, isn't he? I've seen him in HQ Holdens, and he'll drive anything, and he drives the wheels off it. Really nice young man he is.
A very handy little steer up.
Oh, 86.
Oh, wow.
Way too fast into turn 1. I don't know whether he's trying to avoid Jake. Oh, rally style. Just keeps it again. I can't believe that, Richard.
Great catch. Great
Wow.
catch. And it's a pretty deep sand track down there at turn 1.
That'll make the highlights reel for sure. The 86, I think that's the most excitement we've seen out of it all day. Wow.
What a moment. Here's the Sharons. Great to see the Glen Crimp Kintyre Holdings car still continuing around. So that's good to see. But the Sharon Rentals car going well. Now we're going to have another look at this, Bart. Talk us through what was going through Andrew Turpey's mind.
I reckon he's tried to go on the outside and he's either just misjudged it or run out of road. But once he's got to here, it's all going on. And so one correction, snaps back to the other way, what we call a tang slapper. And, well, he saved the guys having to mow the lawn on Monday morning, hasn't he?
Benefit of rear-wheel drive, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So good save there. Could have been a lot worse. So Marshall here just trucking on now. They're looking good, aren't they? Just can tell by the body language of the car. It's very stable. He's not sliding. The tyres haven't gone off. They're looking very good.
And these guys look like they could be on for P2 in this one as well. This has been a really good performance by Grant and Sharon. A couple of great runs last year, especially in the early stages of the championship. They had a fantastic run at the Great Southern 4-hour at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in this Sharon Rentals BMW. And picking up where they left off, gee, these BMWs are strong.
They are. They are so good. And despite being a rear-wheel drive only versus the Evo four-wheel drive, it hasn't been excessively hard on the tyres. You can see the Hankooks are good. It's hanging on well through the high speed. We'll go over the curb, braking nicely. I mean, end of 3 hours to be driving a car like that, that's pretty impressive.
Very neat and tidy. The Sharons have been in the sport a long time. Great sponsors of the sport. They've backed young drivers as well as been involved in category management as well and heavy days in Carrera Cup. Running a couple of cars in that, and they've both raced Porsches quite extensively, but really enjoying their time in the BMWs. What about this father and son combination? It's a family affair here at the moment, isn't it? Because father and son combo leading the race and a couple of brothers in second at the moment.
It's good to see, isn't it? Even though these are run by professional teams with a lot of investment put into them, to have that family connection, it's really good to see.
So Shane Marshall behind the wheel, third place car, Grand Prix Mazda 3 MPS. Scotty Nicholas and Jake Camilleri have done their usual professional job, and they talked before the start of the season that they've worked hard on getting reliability into this car. Well, they've done it. They've done a very good job of it.
Yeah, and it's relentless, aren't they? They're not backing off. He's pushing on, eyeing up this BMW, and you can just tell he's still throwing the car around. And to be able to be driving this hard and this deep into the race, it's impressive. That one makes such a pocket rocket this season.
Well, they had a terrible season last year, Bart, and they had a lot of mechanical dramas, a lot of DNFs, and it really beat them around for a team that prides themselves on being able to use a smaller car, a lower class car, and take on the might of the Evos at the front of the field.
Yep, so on the last lap here, you can see Marshall just stroking it home. What an impressive win this is. Who would have thought, and all the drama Holt has copped, could this be Marshall's first win, Richard?
It would be, yep, it would be a huge turnaround and a great result for the father and son combination in the AmChamps field. And Melbourne Performance Centre, well, dramas for the Carademus Lehman XR6 there, just limping to the flag. Looks like they might have a flat tyre possibly on that car, just trying to limp home, but this has been a great performance. And that first victory, Barton, it's one you always savour.
No, it is, isn't it? And we always say you get one, you just want more, and they keep coming. What a way to start the year. I mean, if you had to place your money on a car winning this race, it was going to be an Evo, but maybe not the MPC car. So real upset here, Richard.
Well, and it really has been an endurance race because they've outlasted and outplayed their rivals with Gary Holt and Stuart Costera, Bob Pearce and Glenn Seaton with mechanical dramas. BMW will finish second, but victory goes the way of the Wrap My Ride Melbourne Performance Centre Evo. The father and son duo win the Sandown 3-Hour Classic, and in the process take an early lead in the Australian Manufacturers Championship. Well, what about this performance? These guys lead the race for a fair distance today. The Sharon Rentals team will be P2 in the BMW.
Oh, they'll be wrapped with that. What a good haul of points for them, and they're looking good for the rest of the year.
And the Queenslanders, great supporters of this championship two-car team. The number 18 one will come home in second place, so Class A wins outright. Class B across the line second. What about third? Well, it'll be a Class C car as we wait for Jake Camilleri and Scott Nicholas in the Grand Prix Mazda 3. This is for position, outright position, the two Hondas.
Well, got him over the line, Richard.
He did get him over the line. Well, we didn't see too much of them in the second half of the race, but Williams edges out King in a race to the line, and King was conserving for a form finish. A bit of drama between the teammates at the end of the Sandown 3-Hour Classic here at Sandown Raceway.
Good round. Sort of had the easy part today. Dad did a fantastic job and he brought it back in the lead for me, and then I just had to conserve fuel for the rest of the race. So yeah, it was sort of all Robert today.
The guys are doing a great job. I mean, they've managed the car for Wakefield and the same round last year, and he's just got everything together. The car's performing well, and the two guys, Toby and Young Doug, who worked on the car all weekend, have done an awesome job. So Melbourne Performance here, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, we're really happy with the way we finished, but we would have liked to win the race outright, so that will be our next goal.
That last safety car kind of blew us out. I think if that safety car didn't come out, I think it would have been a little bit different story. We had the economy to do it, but anyway, that's the way it goes. So hopefully, different story for the Islands.
Well, a great podium in the AmChamps and the Sandown 3-Hour Classic. The point score, of course, reflects their positions, given this is the opening round of the series. But fascinating days early in the fact that the defending champion doesn't have any points. Gary Holt out of the running early. He's got it all to do when we get to Phillip Island for round 2 of the championship. Very interesting throughout the class standings as well. And those points battles over the course of the season will be fascinating to watch. So congratulations to the winners of the Sandown 3-Hour Classic, the opening round of the AmChamps season. It's going to be a great season for production car racing in Australia, and lots more racing to come in 2014.
Oh, no contact.
Class B and Class C cars.
Oh, 86.
Oh, wow.
Way too fast for turn 1.
But victory goes the way of the Wrap My Ride Melbourne Performance Centre Evo. The father and son duo win the Sandown 3-Hour Classic.